Ciao e bentornati a Buckle Up. My name is Jasper and this is the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio. Now be under no illusions, this crossover is not a car for everybody, but if you're a petrol head who needs a bit of practicality, this might just be what you're after. Let me explain. Sporty SUVs are not typically vehicles that actually look very good. However, the Stelvio is the exception to that rule. You've got some absolutely beautiful styling up at the front and around the whole exterior of the car, and my favourite elements are this blacked in V-shaped grille, your Zagato inspired triple daytime LED running lights on either side, you've got matrix LED headlamps, and then just look at these grills. There are absolutely gorgeous lines around them, and the mesh within them provides such a purposeful presence to the front of this vehicle. You've got your Alfa Romeo badge front and centre, and then on the bonnet, which is deeply sculpted, you've got 6 little mesh air vents, 3 on either side, giving you a bit of a clue about the engine in this. You've got Alfa Romeo script in your headlamp clusters, and then when you look at the front of this car as a whole, it is a very pretty thing. Around the side, the Stelvio has simple, powerful and effective styling with quite clean flowing lines in the bodywork, elements of black at the base of the car and on your door mirrors, and then some black trim that surrounds your glass house. You've got a beautiful set of massive 20-inch alloy wheels, which are such a delicate, gorgeous design, and then your Quadrifoglio, your clover leaf badge on the front wing. Around here, it's a chance to mention this absolutely gorgeous, bright red metallic paintwork, which just looks beautiful in the sunlight. Because this is a sporty SUV, you've obviously got tinted rear windows, and then this roofline begins to drop away the back of the car. It's not a boxy vehicle, it's an incredibly smooth, flowing thing. And my absolute favourite thing at the side of the car is this incredibly strong haunch that moves up as it gets towards the back of the car into this strong hip line. On the passenger side of the vehicle in this rear quarter panel, you've got something that you will be very familiar with if you buy one of these, and that is the fuel filler flap. And the reason you'll be familiar with this is that fuel economy ain't great. But ultimately, you won't be buying one of these because of its fuel economy. You will be buying one of these because you care about how good it looks from every single angle, and of course the back is no exception. It's such a gorgeous wide squat design that looks so purposeful. You've got this lovely diffuser styling at the bottom, and then a quad tipped Akrapovic exhaust in this case. That is an optional extra, unfortunately. The back end is very smooth, which is of course the running theme with this car, but still incredibly powerful. You've got the Stelvio script over here, your Alfa Romeo badge up in the centre, and then Q4 over here, because of course this has an all-wheel drive system. You've got clear plastic lenses over your rear tail lights, and when these light up at night, they look absolutely beautiful. Of course, it wouldn't be an SUV if it didn't have some elements of practicality, and if you open your electronic tailgate, you are greeted with 525 litres of boot space beneath a roll-top parcel cover. It's not as large or as practical as some of its competitors, but I would argue this looks a hell of a lot better than all of its competitors, so to be honest, I can forgive that. You do have some space underneath the boot floor, and there are a couple of bag hooks as well as levers to fold the rear seats down. So you've got some practical touches, but this is not why you're buying this car. The interior of the Stelvio is pretty decent, with lovely leather on the seating. You've got perforated sections and some nice contrast stitching. It's not too bad in terms of practicality either. My reusable bottle of water does just about fit in the door pockets, and then I've got a pair of cup holders in this centre fold down armrest. Both of these rear seats have got Isofix points behind flip-up plastic covers, and they fold in a 40-20-40 configuration, so it's pretty easy to fold them down and put larger things in the boot. You've got a USB Type A and USB Type C port down here, and then rear climate vent, but no third zone of temperature adjustment. Nets on the backs of both of these seats, and yes, the materials are pretty decent all round, relatively nice tactile feeling. The only thing I don't particularly like is this fake kind of woven carbon fibre that's not even like lacquered or anything in the door cards. It just feels a little bit tacky to me. Visibility forwards is pretty good, and I really do like this full length but split in the middle panoramic sunroof, because of course that front section opens nice and wide. Rear space is pretty good. I've got a good amount of knee room behind my own driver's position. I'm 173 centimeters tall and my head doesn't touch the ceiling. Somebody who's about 182 centimeters tall will probably have to slouch a little bit because that sunroof does eat into headroom. And if you are behind a taller driver, you might be a little bit tight on space, but for adults for a reasonable length journey in this car shouldn't be too difficult because it is spacious enough. That is one area where this has a massive advantage over its saloon counterpart, the Giulia. Rear space back here is actually quite good. It's not even the front seats which will make you buy a Stelvio, although they are pretty good. They do feel a little bit dated, but I say that in actually quite a nice, refreshing sense, because you do get proper physical climate controls. They aren't buried in an infotainment system. You've got a proper, admittedly electronic, shift lever, and you've got proper controls for your infotainment system, although it is also touchscreen. The steering wheel is a beautiful sport steering wheel with a start-stop engine button on it. You've got proper physical buttons on it, and it's a lovely mixture of leather and Alcantara for grip. The seat bases are leather, you've got extendable under thigh support, they're electronically adjustable, and you've got inflatable and deflatable side bolstering, so they really hug you even if you've got quite a slim frame. Practicality is good too. The door cards hold a reusable bottle of water, you've got a pair of cup holders here beneath a covered panel, you've got an armrest with a Qi charging pad and a little bit of storage, a 12-volt socket, another 12-volt socket here, USB Type C, USB Type A, and an aux port even. That does date this car. The interior hasn't changed too much since the car was first released. However, the digital driver's gauge cluster is the newest thing in here. This had physical dials all the way up until 2024, and this is a really crisp, clear display. It's much more obvious that that is newer than the infotainment system, because that is beginning to show its age. If I turn the car on, you can see that it's actually quite a small display here, and when you swipe through things, it's not particularly fast to respond. It's also quite grainy on the graphics. The 12.3-inch digital cluster is so much more refreshing, and that's really the screen technology that should also be applied here. The dashboard is refreshingly old school. You've got leather that's stitched up at the top. This again, exposed woven carbon fibre thing that I don't particularly like, but some lovely elements of highlighting trim around your air vents. The glove box is disappointingly tiny, but realistically, again, the interior of this car is just a means to an end, because what you actually care about when you're buying this car is how it drives. So let's do that. This car has quite a few minor little flaws or niggles that would be a reason why you might not buy the car. But ultimately, the reason why you would buy the Stelvio Quadrifoglio is how it drives. And that's because in a world of overweight, large, ungainly SUVs, the Stelvio Quadrifoglio is something different. And the reason it drives well is because Alfa Romeo have put a tremendous amount of engineering effort into making it do so. It's got double wishbone suspension at the front, not McPherson struts. It's got some of the fattest tyres you've ever seen. And it's got so much attention to detail in terms of its chassis, road holding, and driver engagement. This steering offers you an incredible amount of feedback and feel for an SUV. You can feel what the car is doing as you turn into a corner, and turning into a corner is an experience in and of itself, because I have been continuously surprised by the sheer amount of nose end grip this car has. It's relatively light when you compare it to most of its closest rivals as well, with this tipping the scales at just over 1,800 kilograms. So that light weight, coupled with the amazing road holding and incredibly engaging driving experience, mean that, well, to drive, this is something else. The other reason you might buy this is the engine. And that's because it's got a 2.9 litre twin turbocharged 90-degree angle V6 that happens to be Ferrari derived. At its peak, it produces 520 horsepower and it's got 600 Newton meters of torque, allowing you to propel yourself from 0 to 60 in less than 4 seconds. Put that with the 8-speed automatic gearbox and all-wheel drive system and you can make pretty swift progress. This is a car that can make your face hurt, and it will push you back so far into the seat that you can get an imprint of the leather stitching on your back. The other thing that is incredible about this car is the exhaust. This optional extra, a Krapovich exhaust, really makes this car sing. From the inside, the noise isn't actually that impressive, but if you crack a window or hear this car drive past you, whoo, does it sound good. If you knock the 8-speed automatic gearbox over into manual mode, you can use what are literally the best shift paddles fitted to any car in this class to row through the gears yourself. And that, paired with the incredible turn-in, means you can really have a lot of fun in this car. To make something that's this large drive as well as it does, some compromises do have to be made, and one of those is ride comfort, because to make this corner as flatly and have as much grip as it does, the suspension is firm. Thankfully, if you've got your DNA drive selector in D or race mode, you can actually just make the suspension softer, which is how it's set up in N or A mode, and that does take the edge off things, but it's still ultimately quite a jiggly, unsettled driving experience. The car is planted on the road, but you feel absolutely everything the road surface has to offer you. There's a surprising amount of wind noise that comes through to the cabin, so if you don't have music on, it can be a little bit noisier than you'd expect, and the noise doesn't even come from the engine. If you put the car in N or A mode, the exhaust quietens down and it can be a relatively sedate driving experience, but ultimately you've got firm suspension and a pretty raughty engine, so it's going to make some noise. Another noise I'm not particularly convinced by is the indicator sound, which is a little bit weird techno kind of. I don't like it. I have also previously mentioned that fuel economy is something to be notified about, and yeah, I mean, let's face it, if you're buying a car like this, you do not care about fuel economy, but if you're interested, real world, less than 20 mpg, and if you're driving it in a spirited manner, probably about 15 miles to the gallon. The purchase price is also one that makes me wince, and that's because it starts around 85 grand, and when you throw in stuff like the excellent lane keep assist and adaptive cruise control driving pack and the Krapovich sports exhaust, you're suddenly looking at about a 95 grand car. And because of all of that, your VED for the first year is going to be north of £2,500 as well. So if you are buying this, you'd better have deep pockets. But let's face it, if you're genuinely serious about buying one of these, you will have deep pockets, because it's a very flawed car, but honestly, it's such a joy to drive. This is absolutely not a car for everybody, but if you are a keen driver and you happen to need an SUV and you want the all-wheel drive thing and a really, really good engine, it's pretty much the only one that I can genuinely recommend, simply because of how it makes you feel. I'm actually slightly lost for words, because everything about this car just feels special. It's Italian, it's fiery, and yes, that means that probably at some point it'll both break your heart and steal your wallet, but I think it's worth it. If you mainly do low-speed city driving, I wouldn't bother with this, because the way the gearbox and drivetrain is set up make it difficult to modulate speed at low ends of the spectrum, so it can feel a little bit jerky and jittery in stop-start traffic. But if you have roads that are enjoyable and engaging to drive on, I really can't recommend anything else in this category. This is a car that is flawed in many, many ways, but honestly, when it comes to driving, it makes up for it tenfold with just how enjoyable everything is. Yes, it's got a dated interior, yes, the reversing camera's rubbish, the infotainment system's a little bit too small, and ultimately it's very expensive and very uneconomical, but whew, when you put your foot down and hear that engine, you forget about all of that and all of your worries. I like it. If you want one of these, you should just go right ahead and buy one, because hands down, this is the best sporty SUV available to buy. It looks fantastic, it drives incredibly well, and above everything, it's got so much soul. The only real problem with this, if you're a keen driver, is that the Jaguar Quadrifoglio exists. If you've enjoyed today's video, please do let me know by liking, commenting and subscribing to the Buckle Up YouTube channel if you've not done so already. A few ways to support us are all linked in the video description, whether that's our merch store, buying some things that say Buckle Up on them, or following us on one or all of our social medias. They are all in the video description. If you'd like to support us directly here on YouTube, you can do that by becoming a channel member, but that is everything for today's video, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!